Okay, we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream, 7:35 p.m. It is the 11th of March, 2025. I've said it once, I'll say it again. The year is flying by. We're going to have a look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the news today. We'll look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times too by viewers. And we'll go into the live chat around minute 20 of this evening's live stream and see what is happening among the viewers this evening. Now, straight into the news. And as the days go by, the pressure continues to mount on the Mazón government in Valencia. And as we can see here, a judge has discredited his government. It was the regional authorities' duty to alert the public, said the judge. The judge investigating the Dana storm that struck Valencia on October the 29th, leaving 225 dead and 3 missing, has issued a ruling that marks a significant escalation in the case. Judge Nuria Ruiz Tobarra from the Catarroja court has not only formally charged former Emergency Minister Salomé Pradas and former Secretary of Emergencies Emilio Argueso, but also contradicted the narrative put forth by Carlos Mazón's administration in its defense. The ruling effectively dismantles the regional government's claims, which have been used to deflect criticism over its handling of one of the worst disasters to hit Valencia. The judge rejects the argument that the regional authorities lacked information to warn the public in time and holds them directly responsible for issuing alerts. Ruiz Tobarra also clarifies that the distribution of responsibilities during the emergency does not absolve the Valencian government of its failure to act. So, fairly clear from what the judge is saying, what's coming out of this court in Valencia, that it was the responsibility of the Mazón government to warn people before the floods hit, before the waters came down from the mountains to those towns around the city of Valencia and killing 225 people, as we saw. One person is already there, is going to face trial. The person that, if we remember correctly, Salomé Pradas, as we remember, a woman in the Mazón government who didn't even know that she had an alert system at her fingertips to push the button to warn people to take high ground. And that is what did not happen. Since then, it's been going back and forth between the central government and the Valencian government. And of course, Mr. Mazón, the person ultimately responsible, many people think, or at least that's what the judge, most likely the conclusion the judge will come to, still maintains his position, refuses to budge. And I even heard today some people speculating that perhaps he will be made a senator of the country should the PP government get into power, or in some upcoming changes, next elections, hold on until next elections, be made senator so that he is untouchable by the courts for potential crimes that happened on that day. So interesting news breaking today regarding that case. Second piece of news here, and good news for the country, as the recent rains have ended the drought and have boosted Spain's water reserves. The recent heavy rains across Spain throughout March have effectively ended the country's prolonged drought and significantly increased water reserves in reservoirs. The drought, which had led to water restrictions for urban consumption, agriculture, and hydroelectric power generation, is now officially over, according to the state meteorological agency, the Aemet. By the end of February, there was no longer a one-year drought, explained the Aemet, adding that the long-term drought, which had persisted since late 2023, is also expected to end completely due to the continued rainfall in March. The sustained precipitation has significantly replenished Spain's water reserves, easing concerns that had led to strict water-saving measures in several regions. While rainfall is expected to continue in the coming weeks, officials will monitor the situation to ensure stable water levels moving forward. This turnaround in Spain's water crisis comes as a major relief to farmers, local authorities, and hydropower industries, marking the end of a critical period of water scarcity. So, good news, as I said, the recent rains have ended the drought which has been plaguing parts of the country for the last couple of years. Catalonia, for example, not sure what the exact water situation is there, but the reservoirs, according to the Aemet, have been replenished, which is good news. And anybody who is in Spain currently or who has been in Spain for the last few weeks will know that the rain has been endless, falling most days quite heavily in some parts of the country. So good news, the drought is over, and people most likely, I'm going to say most likely because you never know what can happen over the next few months, won't be facing restrictions this year in some parts of the country. We know the Costa del Sol was badly hit last year. They were worried about not being able to fill up pools for the tourist season, tourists not being able to have a shower at the beach when they finish their swim. So this year, those restrictions most likely, again, I'll use that phrase there, most likely will not be in place. Good news. Now, on to the crime that has rocked the country in recent days, the crime in the province of Badajoz, the city of Badajoz. And we can see here that 3 youths have been arrested for the murder of a carer in a supervised home in Badajoz. 3 youths, aged 14 to 17, have been arrested for the violent death of a female carer at a supervised home for young offenders in Badajoz, according to sources confirmed by the RNE, the state broadcaster. The suspects, 2 boys and 1 girl, were apprehended in Merida, where they fled after stealing the victim's car. They later had an accident with the vehicle, which helped authorities locate them. Investigators have also confirmed that an emergency call reporting a heated argument at the facility prompted police to intervene, leading to the discovery of the victim's body. According to preliminary findings, the 35-year-old woman, originally from Castuera, Badajoz, was likely strangled with a belt. As a result of the tragic incident, the town of Castuera has declared 3 days of mourning. So the case, I said, that is currently rocking the country, the death of this carer, youth supervisor at a home for delinquents, I imagine, in the city of Badajoz, killed by 3 of the people put up in that house. A tragedy. They tried to escape, tried to get away by stealing the woman's car, adding to the crimes, but having an accident, as we saw there, and being picked up by national police or civil guard or whoever it was that caught these 3 juvenile murderers. And is it just me, or is juvenile crime on the rise, not only here in Spain, but in many parts of the world? And if you listen to what's happening in Australia at the moment, juvenile crime is out of control. And here, that is the result of 3 of these juvenile criminals. Whatever happened there, I've got no idea, but the carer strangled by these 3 thugs. Let's see what happens to them. But as we know, sometimes the penalties are not harsh enough for serious offenders like this. On to the final piece of news now, and bad news for people planning a trip to Spain later this month or early April, or people living in this country that depend on rail transport, because Renfe, the state rail operator, and the Adif train strikes in Spain. Dates and minimum services. Renfe and Adif trains in Spain will be affected by 7 days of strike action across the country. The joint industrial action has been called by the workers' committees of both companies in response to the transfer of Rodialis, the Catalonia commuter rail service, to the regional government, and concerns over a perceived covert privatisation of Renfe Mercancías freight services. The strikes, which include both full-day and partial stoppages, are expected to cause major disruptions to millions of passengers in the coming weeks. The strike's schedule includes 3 full-day stoppages on the 17th and the 26th of March, as well as the 1st of April. Additionally, partial stoppages will take place on the 19th, 24th and 28th of March and the 3rd of April, affecting services at different times of the day. These disruptions will impact high-speed AVE trains, regional media distancia, and local cercanías train services, significantly affecting both commuters and leisure travellers. So, as I said, bad news for people that are planning a trip, planning to travel by rail around this country at the end of the month. Strikes planned by the rail operators here, Renfe and DIF. So, if you are planning to travel by rail at that time of the month, at the end of the month or early next month, check the dates, and if you can change your tickets, if you've got them already, try to do so, because I don't know whether this strike will be called off or not. It will depend on government negotiation, of course. The operator there not happy, or workers in the operations there not happy with the government's plan to hand over the train service, the Renfe train service, to the Catalan government, another one of the government's dealings with Carles Puigdemont and company. So this is what's happening. So strike action in the rest of Spain because of this. That's what we are living with here, with the government and their negotiations with the Catalan independence movement. Incredible, but true. Now, into the comment section. We'll see what has been bubbling away in the comment section. This one here from Gordon. Hi, Stu. Your explanation about nuts aligns 100% with our experience over the years. We rapidly learnt this 20 years ago, as unfortunately my son has a nut allergy, and so we always had to ask if something contains nuts. Many times we were told no, only to find there were almonds, peanuts, or pine nuts in the food. Thanks, Gordon, for that, and I can understand the frustrations that you would have had 20 years ago here in Spain trying to deal with your son's nut allergy. The restaurants wouldn't have been up to speed back then, I don't think, at least the majority. Nowadays, things have changed. A lot of the modern style restaurants include in their menu options all of the different allergies that the food could cause, nut allergies, lactose issues, celiac disease also is catered for. As I said, when you go to a newer type restaurant, if you go into some of the old bars and restaurants around the country that are serving up the traditional fare, maybe not, maybe they haven't changed their way, but you would have to ask the wait staff or the owner of the restaurant or the cook or whoever has prepared the food what the risks are. I was recently in a restaurant in a city in Aragon, and a friend of mine has celiac disease, can't eat any gluten, and the wait staff were very good in their recommendations as to what he could or could not eat. They even offered to fry the food separately if he wanted to have something like some type of squid in batter, to fry it separately, not where breadcrumbs had been fried. So they were working fairly well to cater for people with allergies. But 20 years ago, I imagine it was a different story. So remember, if you have nut allergies, to always consult the menu or the staff as to what the food contains to avoid problems down the line. Another one here from Recipe Review. Hi, Stu, referencing Catalonia. This is just another move to independence through the back door. I wouldn't trust the Catalan police with the Spanish frontiers, considering their involvement in the insurrection. May as well open up with a private company. As far as immigration is concerned, this will be against what the rest of Spain is doing. Wait and see. There will be repercussions from other communities. Yeah, there already are repercussions from other communities. Recipe Review. Castilla-La Mancha is the number one autonomous community that's kicking up a fuss with regard to what's going on, and all of the autonomous communities controlled by the Partido Popular, the opposition party at a central level, controlling some of the regions around the country. They are kicking up a fuss as well, but falling on deaf ears because the government is adamant that this is the way to go forward. Time will tell, of course. Not only planning the rail service handover to the Catalan authorities, like similar to what happens in the Basque Country, I think, but also the security at airports and ports in Catalonia. Not border control, I don't think just yet. That will still be the Civil Guard and the National Police that control customs and passports and things like that. But talk to some people, and it's just a matter of time before everything is handed over to Mr. Puigdemont and company because of his position as the holder of the balance of power for the central government to keep Mr. Sánchez in power until 2027. So we'll see what happens until then. but interesting times we are living with this. And like I said, the rail strike coming up, an indirect or direct result of this. Thanks, Recipe Review, for that. Another one here from Johnny. Missed the live stream and enjoy the replay now. Does Madrid change the time to take advantage of the longer days? California started daylight savings time today. Takes me about a week to adjust. Thanks, Johnny. The answer is yes. Not only Madrid, but the whole of Spain takes daylight saving, or takes on daylight savings. We put the clocks forward an hour, I think, if I remember correctly. That's what happens, and we get an extra hour or so of daylight every day for 6 months or so. Now, I think in October they change back. Not sure exactly when they change over. Could be the end of this month, might be the beginning of next month, not sure, but it's fairly soon. Fairly soon, I will say. And the days become longer. More afternoon light, less morning light, of course. So if you are a morning person, it might not be for you, but people that like to prolong their afternoon activities in daylight savings is for them, I imagine. And the whole of Spain, it changes, and but not sure exactly. So if you guys know the exact date, let me know in the comment section. But just around the corner, I believe. And I'm with you, Johnny. It takes me a while to adapt also to the change of time. Not easy to get used to, but we have to live with it. We have to live with it. That is true. Thanks, Johnny, for that one. Another one here from Tito. I like callos more than lentejas. Hello from Requena. Thanks, Tito, for that comment. I must admit that I do like the odd callo every now and again. If you're not familiar with callos, it's beef tripe. And lentejas, of course, a vegetarian option, whereas tripe not so much, but each to their own. And as I said, I do enjoy a plate of tripe every now and again, but the lentil dish that I had the other day was superb. Superb was the lentil dish. Thanks for that. Another one here from Rosie Rose. Love the look of the lentil dish, but surprised to see the beef served with chips. I would like to have seen some fresh leafy greens instead. Great price though. Thanks, Rosie Rose. Yeah, most dishes, meat dishes here in Spain, are served, at least the ones that I eat, in the menú del día. Maybe if you go to a more upmarket restaurant, you can ask for some other type of vegetable with your meat or your fish. But the majority of places, as I said, that I go to are serving up chips. Sometimes they're hand cut. Sometimes they're from a packet. More often from a packet. But they do accompany the meat, and people like to eat the patata frita with their carne a lot of the times. But as Rosie points out there, maybe some greens could have gone down well. And incredible to see the amount of comments that I get on the channel, people saying the same thing. Why is Spanish food, or that type of Spanish food, only served with chips? Why is there no other type of vegetable being served? It also could be that people are just not used to seeing green vegetables on their plate in restaurants. Beans, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, if you like them, things like that. People are not used to seeing them, therefore it doesn't happen, basically. I think that would be the reason. And you don't often get the opportunity to order a side dish of vegetables either. Again, if you go to a fancy place, maybe. Or one that caters maybe to the tourists here in Spain. Maybe you'll get a plate of greens, a side of greens. But in central Spain, no, chips is what you'll get. Or fries, as our North American friends like to call them. Fries or chips, where I come from. So thanks, Rosie, for that. Another one here from Juan. Stu, this is one of my favourite dishes, lentils, that my dear mother made. You're bringing back great memories. Thank you. Thanks, Juan, for that. Glad that you are thinking of your mother, who made wonderful lentils back in the day, no doubt when you were growing up. A staple in your house, the lentils, as it is in many homes in this part of Spain. I had somebody saying the other day on the comments that, oh, that's not a Spanish recipe. You would never eat that in the Canary Islands. We have our own food down there, blah, 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 blah. Mate, lentils are served all over the country in some way, shape, or another. The Canary Islands, again, maybe they've got their own special cuisine down there. They don't eat lentils. I've got no idea. But the rest of Spain, I seem to see lentil dishes served very, very often, especially in the menú del dia. Why? Because they're cheap to put together. You get a hearty meal for a cheap price. Therefore, they're included in the menú del dia. Can you order lentils a la carte? Maybe, maybe not. But as a menú del dia option, yes, in mainland Spain, that is true. So thanks for the person that wrote that other comment, and also thanks to Juan for the comment there about the lentils that his mother used to make. Thanks for that. And the final comment here from CF23, looks delicious. Going to Seville, Barcelona, and Madrid in October. Can't wait for those menú del dia. Thanks for sharing. Thanks, CF. Yep, you will be eating the menú every day if you want to. It is a staple in many parts of the country. Again, I'm not going to say all of the country because people say, well, where I come from, we don't have the menú del dia. But everywhere I go to, I seem to see during the week, Monday to Friday, a menú del dia. So you will enjoy many, and I hope you get a good one. There's plenty of bad ones out there, but there are some standout menú del dias available. Value for money for the price. So hope you find some of them. Do a bit of research, of course. If you're going to Seville, as you said here, Barcelona, Madrid, do a bit of research. Put in the best menús del dia in those cities that you mentioned, and make sure you book, because you might not be able to get into the popular places as they would normally be. Very, very busy, I imagine. So thanks for that. Now, I'm going into the live chat in just a moment. Before I get to the live chat, I always seem to get this in the wrong order. I need to change the backdrop. This photo was sent in by Eddie, our friend in Australia, who was traveling around Spain, took this photo in the city of Toledo, which is just south of Madrid, about 60 kilometers south of Madrid, I think. Toledo, it's one of these cities that is an absolute must-see. Visually spectacular. To walk the ancient streets of Toledo, fantastic. I wouldn't recommend it as a place to eat. The tourism element of Toledo has ruined the culinary scene of Toledo, at least the old part. I haven't found many decent restaurants or places that are serving very, very good food. I'm sure there is, but I haven't been able to find many of them. Maybe it's my budget, of course. You can eat well in the province of Toledo, just outside the old city. Even go into the new part of the city, you can find some decent restaurants. But the old part, overrun by tourists, and of course that has an impact on the quality of things. Just my opinion, of course. But thanks, Eddie, for sending the picture through. And if anybody else has a picture similar or any photo of Spain that they would like to see on the backdrop, the email address is going on the screen now. spainspeaks@gmail.com is that email address. Feel free to send your photos through. They can be shots like this one here, city shots. They can be coastline shots, mountain shots, whatever you like. Send them through, and we'll put them on the backdrop here should they meet the characteristics, which is basically a landscape photo, 16:9 is the ratio that you need to try to aim for. Other people that have sent me photos through, and maybe you're asking, why haven't they appeared on the backdrop, Stuart? Why have you not put them on the backdrop? Well, there's two reasons for that. One is that sometimes they're too small. I can't make them any bigger to get a quality image. That's one reason. Another one is that some people send me through the Instagram type photos that have been taken with your phone like that, which every person nowadays don't know why, but they're taking photos like this. I reckon that's the best way to take a photo, and if you want to crop it, you can. But each to their own, as I always say. And the other reason might be is that I've forgotten about it. I got maybe 10 in the same day, and I can't keep up with the amount that sometimes come through, and with the amount of emails that I get sent every day, which over the last few months has increased a lot. I sometimes lose them. So if that is the case, if you think your photo is worthy, characteristic, style-wise and everything, send it back to me again. Send it back. I'll stick it on the backdrop should that be the case. Also, the like icon is going on the screen. You can see that there now. If you haven't hit the like icon yet, please do so. Currently sitting at 55 likes now. We'll see if we can get up to around 80, maybe 90 today. So do us a favor if you can, hit that like icon. just below the video. I appreciate people liking the channel for the content. Now, into the chat section, I'm going to go. Let me open the chat section up. I don't think there's anything else I have to do. Oh, yes, I have to thank the supporters of the channel, people that help the channel keep going. Super thanks, super chat here on the live streams, people that have bought me a coffee. Muchas gracias, as they say. Many thanks. Patreon supporters, longer-term supporters on Patreon, thank you very much for that longer-term support. Greatly appreciated. And also the channel members, people that have joined the channel. Quite a simple process. From 99 cents a month, you can become a channel member. And as I said, it helps to keep the channel fresh, new content coming out every week. And it also helps me get out on the road to find and make that interesting content. If I can find the ideas to put together, which is not always easy, of course. Now into the chat. Let me open it up here. Let's see what's going on. I think I saw a super chat here. I'll just see if I can find it. Oh, from a regular contributor, Marcus. Good to see Marcus today. I'm glad it rained and glad it's over. Now I can call my tame tractorista to come and fix the dirt track leading up to Marcus's house. Yeah, I think Marcus is in the Murcia region, and the rains there have been quite heavy. We saw last week somebody losing their life, I think, in Murcia, got their car stuck in the wrong place at the wrong time, and was swept away by the rains, all the streets that turn into rivers, and Murcia very prone to flooding, of course. And yeah, a lot of the produce that was going to be on supermarket and market shelves come spring and summer has been destroyed. So no doubt we will be paying premium prices for some of those products this summer and spring, of course. Barbara is the first person that I can see here in the chat, the first chat that pops up today, coming in from a windy but sunny Playa Flamenca. Good to see you, Barbara, valued member, of course. Sani is in the chat too. Sun hasn't been out all day where Sani is, in Basingstoke, I think it is. Marianne coming in from San Diego, rare and welcome, slightly rainy, rare and welcome. Looking forward to Stuart giving us the information about events and developments in Spain. A great gift. Thank you very much, Stuart. Stay home. Yeah, if it is raining a lot, stay home. Good advice, that. Stay home. Carmen, same weather here in Santa Monica, Southern California, for the next 3 days, heading to Spain in early April. Hope the train strike won't affect you, Carmen, should it happen. If the government can't negotiate its way out of it, the Transport Minister, we'll see what he can do, of course. But today it was announced, and no changes on that yet. So hopefully you weren't planning to travel by rail on those days mentioned before. TOL, valued member, coming in from El Puerto. Oh, no, he's in San Diego, dreaming of El Puerto. There we go. Brad with a simple thumbs up. Hola. Thanks, Brad. Janet's a valued member too, coming in here from Oxford, where normal service has resumed in terms of the weather, which means that back to grey skies and rain, I imagine. Charlie the Chaste. It was just rained on. I was just rained on, sorry, says Charlie. Am considering legal recourse. Thanks, Charlie. Good luck with that. Don't think you'll get far. Victoria, hola one and all. Thanks, Victoria, for your comment today. Charlie would also like to be a senator. Well, yeah, they call it here the, can't remember the exact word that they use. Aforado, I think, is the word, where they have political immunity, let's say, from these things. When they're sitting in the parliaments, they can't face the courts. Abelos is trying to get that political immunity. And, of course, Mr. Mathon to save his bacon. That is what somebody suggested today might happen. Don't know. Just what somebody on the radio suggested, one of these political experts. Erica is in the chat. Had a big storm this afternoon, and it's drizzling now. Big upheaval today as my boiler has died, so no hot water, no heating. Wish everyone a great week. Yep, not good with the old boiler carks at Erica. Erica's had problems with the lift in her building. Now the boiler's on the blink. So not good. Not good. Charlie saying, we survived COVID and the drought in the Dana. Feeling optimistic. Thanks, Charlie. Thanks for that. Liz, great news about the end of the drought situation in Spain. Yes, we'll see how long it lasts for. You never know with the weather here. It either rains or there's drought, either one or the two. Never that constant rain that some parts of the world get. Of course, different geographies. The north of Spain's more like that, I think. In Galicia, more constant rain. Asturias, more constant rain. Not having to worry about drought very often. But of course, in the Valencian region, the Murcia region, Andalusia, central Spain, not the case. Not the case, of course. Kathy coming in from the Playa de Xeraco. It was a beautiful day today after days of rain. Rained again with strong winds. Nice to make it to a live stream. Mama is in a lot of pain. Her right knee hurts and needs replacing. Sorry to see that, Kathy, that your mama is not feeling too well at the moment with the constant pain in the knee. See how long it is before she can get that replaced. Plenty of good rain and floods in Malaga. I think that's floods there. Thanks, Brad, for that. David El Davido took his dog for a walk in the local hills after all the rain. So much is flowering again. It looks fantastic. There we go. So one of the benefits, of course, of all of the heavy rain, the flowers that pop up afterwards. Rained about a tenth of the post-drought biblical rain for 2 months solid in 1995. There we go. Brad's memory going back there. Il Buzzo's in the chat. Haven't seen him for a while. Good evening, mate. Good evening, Il Buzzo. What have we got going on here? John saying, nice one. I'm a cinematographer from Eastern Europe about to move to Spain. Are the youngsters really flocking out of Spain, or is the creative industry thriving, as the US says? Well, the creative industry is thriving, John, because the Spanish government is throwing a lot of European funds at it, setting up these audio-visual hubs around the world. Sanchez, I think, back in 2021, says that he wanted to turn Spain into the European Hollywood, and he had the resources, of course, to do it. As I said, those EU funds, and that's what's being thrown at it. So all of the Spanish series on Netflix, all of the actors getting a cut of this cash as well. So, and not only that, but also other people involved in the industry. Good times for them, of course, because the money is flowing. It'll probably dry up again if the government changes. So if you want to take advantage, John, get down here quickly. John saying that he must learn the language. In my country, there is not much of a future for John. Sorry to hear that, John, coming from Eastern Europe. Not sure exactly where. Maybe Hungary, maybe somewhere like that. The creative industry, not very good at the moment. But yeah, you've got to learn the language. El Español, El Castellano, if you like. It would help enormously. Hike Rangers having a cold beer in Scottsdale, Arizona, watching Spain Speaks. Thanks, Hike Ranger, for that. Enjoy your cold brew. A little less rain will probably be welcome in Galicia at the moment. Well, all of the storms coming through that part, right, Andrew, I imagine, and the ones that are sweeping across the country, starting there, these Atlantic storms. What are peanuts called in Spain? In Augustinians, they're called cacahuetes, but I've read they're called other terms elsewhere. Yeah, the common name is cacahuete, especially if it's in a shell. If it's out of the shell and salted, it can be called a panchito. Here, again, I only talk about where I live, my local neighborhood. Not sure about the rest of Spain, but panchito is a word that you will hear. Cacahuete, if it's in the shell. And if you like to crack them open and try to get the nuts out, cacahuete. Cacahuete. So that's the word peanut, but as I said, the out of the shell variety, packeted variety with a bit of salt or no salt, if you like, panchito, which can also be a derogatory term for people from a certain part of the world. So be careful using it. Be careful using it. Andrea, still waiting for me and Panish. Well, I'm not there, Andrea, so you have to wait a little longer. Not sure when I will be back, but I'll probably be doing some videos from there when I do get back there. Not sure exactly when. What else? Let's have a look. David here saying, in Albuquerque, they're called cacahuetes. Well, that's it, yeah. Well, in Spanish, the word is cacahuete. 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 It's with an E. Cacahuete. Wete. Mike coming in from Vermilion. Back to cold weather again. Gone backwards, says Mike. Minus 15 at the moment. I think it got above zeros in a couple of weeks ago. Christina saying they're called the same here in Spain. Exactly. Cacahuete. There we go. I don't want to use the word there, the whole of Spain, because people normally, as I say, they say, where I come from, it's called something else. But I've only ever heard the word cacahuete or panchito. Just me. What else we got going on? Let's have a look. The time change, usually the last Sunday in March and the same in October. There we go with the time change. Al saying Catalan authorities taking over customs and immigration are a step towards independence. Well, they're not taking those over, Al. It's only security at the airports. Those are still going to be managed by the central state authorities. But only a question of time, according to some. Don't know. I think in the Basque Country, the police there might do the same thing. I've got no idea. Might control security at the airports, but the borders, the control, and all of those things are still controlled by Madrid. Change on the 30th of March, says Antonio. Thanks, Antonio, for that. What else? Let's have a look here. Gigi's in the chat. Another thing that they love about living in Arizona is they don't mess with the clocks. They stay the same all year long. Thanks, Gigi. Also, where I come from, they don't mess with the clocks, as you put it. They just keep it the same all year. So people don't have to worry about this daylight savings malarkey. What else? Mike says, had diabetes type 2, went totally carnivore diet. No, he doesn't have it. There we go. Thanks, Mike, for that. Not sure whether that's medical advice there, but it worked for you, obviously. Sam, we're on 12 days of continuous rain in Seville. Our reservoir is apparently 104% full. They're letting the water out. Yeah, I saw that the other day. I was walking next to a dam, and the water was coming out of that dam at a rate of knots. The dam was open, and poof, out it was coming. So I imagine they're doing the same thing. We're down in Seville. Dave, the future Alcalá de Henares correspondent, 23 degrees there. Neighbours are off for 2 weeks in Turkey. There we go. Must have got a cheap trip with Turkish Airlines, Dave. What else? The Jazz Shed. Evening stew from a rather chilly Bury St Edmunds. Spring is on hold. Clocks change on the 30th. Back to Calpe on the 3rd. Yippee, says the Jazz Shed. Thanks, Jazz, for that. Let's have a look. Let's have a look here quickly. Bob, valued member. Great video on the lentil meal. Why didn't you show the complete menu for the menú del día so we have a good idea of what was on offer before you made the choice? Keep up the good work. Thanks, Bob. Well, the place that I went to didn't have anything written down. It was all in the owner's mind. He rattled them off. I think they had codillo. They might have, for the first, they had different bean dishes, a couple of egg dishes as well, the lentils. Can't remember anything else because I just focused on the lentils, Bob. Then for the seconds, he had codillo, which is like a pork knuckle, if you like, the beef rib, which I had, and he rattled off another 3 or 4. And when it came to desserts, He rattled off about 8, but I got stuck on the cheesecake. So it was all in his mind. That's the way that restaurant operates. There's nothing set. It's just whatever they cook up on the days. So that's something that I liked about it also, not like here in Madrid where everything is written down. So you know sort of what you're going to get in for. There it's just the typical, this is what we got. Take it or leave it. Renon's in the chat here too. Coming in from LA, but soon in Madrid. Thanks, Renon, for that. Canary Islands have plenty of lentils. Yeah, I thought that might be the case, Patrick, but the guy that wrote the comment was fairly adamant the other day that I tend to focus too much on stereotypes because he also mentioned that bullfighting doesn't happen all over Spain. Well, there's maybe 2 or 3 regions in Spain. The Canary Islands might be one where bullfighting might not be all that common, but the rest of Spain, yeah. So my way of thinking is that the majority rules. He also mentioned flamenco. Flamenco is not all over Spain. Well, obviously, it's something from the south of Spain, maybe Córdoba, maybe Seville, maybe other parts of Andalusia. We know that. So people waste their time and my time with these comments on the channel. And also saying those dishes are not common in some parts of Spain. Well, everywhere I go to, I see them on the menú del día. That was my point. I didn't bother replying to them because, as I said, I don't want to waste my time. Maybe it'd be an idea, says Marcus here, to get people to put some hashtag in the subject line to identify the backdrop photos. Thanks, Marcus. Good idea. We'll see if that one works. Carmen is only going to be taking air travel and cabs, no trains. So the strike won't affect Carmen, which is good. Gillian coming in from Torrevieja. We're in the middle of a very loud thunderstorm. Thanks, Gillian. Stay safe. Don't go outside if you don't have to. Why should anyone be above the law? Senators, for example. Good question, but the here and many other places, as we know, they are protected. Parliamentary privileges and all of those things. And Mr. Mathon is taking advantage of that at the moment. But his offsider there, the lady that didn't know that the alarm system existed, of course, she was removed from her positions. She doesn't have any immunity anymore. If she did before, I don't know whether she did or not, but she is going to face trial. And I imagine she might go to the clink, or at least cop a fairly hefty fine for the negligence on that day. What else we got going on here? Alex saying that Mathon démission, with an I think, démission. They should, as they shouted last year, but he never will, only by force. Well, he's been protected by his party also, Alex. The PP obviously sees it as some type of a strategy, not sure what it is. And interesting, the owner of the Mercadona supermarket chain came out today and was very critical of politicians, not just in the Valencian region, but at a national level, saying that they've lost touch with the average person here. I would argue that probably they never have had much touch with the average person here. But, again, just my opinion. Joaquin saying, it's funny Americans do not want people over the fence, but they want to retire here in Spain. Many American citizens are coming to live here to live. Funny. Well, Joaquin, it's quite simple. The world's a big place, and the United States is a big place, and some people agree with some policies and some people don't. And when people don't agree with certain policies, maybe they say, well, why don't we live somewhere else because we don't want to have to put up with this, or we don't like the way the country's going. They have the economic resources available, and countries like Spain, as we have seen over the last 10 years or so, Portugal as well, have been trying to attract that money. It's not necessarily because they don't like everything about the United States, but maybe they just don't like some things. It doesn't mean that they're all right-wing anti-immigration freaks. It might just mean that they want to change, perhaps. I think that's the way it goes. The same here in Spain. I mean, is everybody here in Spain anti-immigration? Is everybody here in Spain doing this? Is everybody here in Spain doing that? No. And Spanish people for many, many years, Joaquin, have gone searching for a better life outside the country because they couldn't find one here. And sometimes that's what people want to do. So, Landbright saying, Ola Stewart, not long home from Fuengirola. Was white. Funny to see the tourists in their shorts and t-shirts and the locals in survival suits. Not laughing now, I'm back in Scotland. It is always a standout, Ian, I think that is. Sorry, I might have got that. I might have thought that was an L before, but Ian, I think. It is true, Ian, that when you go to some of these places here in Spain and during the winter months, like Malaga, for example, or even the Canary Islands, the locals will not be getting around in flip-flops, shorts, and singlets. They're normally quite rugged up because for them, it's cold. But of course, if you come from Scotland and you head to the Costa del Sol, where it's probably 16, 17 degrees, but the locals, no. They have a different sensitivity to the weather, let's say. I remember when I went to the Canary Islands, I had a jumper on or a sweater, whatever you want to call it, and walked into the hotel, and it was full of people sunning themselves. It was only 16 or 17 degrees. So for me, it was a bit chilly. I wouldn't be getting my kid off for that weather. But of course, when you come from your Manchesters or your Leeds or your wherever, Liverpools or, even further up north, Scotland, it must be like paradise arriving for the first time. What else? Let's have a look. Alex saying a few of the subscribers voted for the Mango Mussolini. Again, Alex, people can vote for whoever they want. Nobody has a gun to their head when they go to the election booths. You can vote for whoever you want. We live in a free society. We can criticize them if we don't like their way of thinking, or if they don't like ours, they can criticize us. But people are free to vote for whomever they want. Just my opinion, of course. Antonio saying, it's not funny, the USA is very expensive, not Spain. Also, life here is livelier and healthier because of the food and the country is made for pedestrians, also the health system. There's some reasons also as well. But as I said, not everybody votes for one side, not everybody votes for the other side. So, I mean, you can take criticism at both sides sometimes of the system, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Money is the word for peanuts in Puerto Rico, says Hector. Thanks, Hector, for that. Money. What else? Let's have a look. Cacahuete is recognized but not common from where Hector is from. So there we go. But again, here in Spain, cacahuete will get you a peanut. Cacahuete. Don't separate the words. Caca is one thing also. And Huete is a town in Cuenca. I went through there the other day. Huete. But caca, one thing. Huete, something else. Thanks, Alex. Just exactly what I said. Abe saying, in Mexico, the word is cacahuete as it derives from the Nahuatl cacahuate. There we go. That's the background, the etymology of the word. What else? Let's have a look here. Showers will be working this year, says Stressless. Thank you very much. That is true. A lot of people saying that the word there, money. I wouldn't be sunbathing in 16 degrees Celsius. No, nor would I. Firstly, I would like to protect my skin. Secondly, bit chilly to get your kid off, especially when you're not when you're climatized to the weather here. Again, if you're coming from the northern parts of Europe, where it's probably 5 degrees every day, raining a lot, and of course you come down 16, 17 degrees, the first thing you want to do is get your shirt off and get a bit of sun on the old bod. But the locals, they're walking around with puffer jackets and scarves. Lisa saying, as a New Yorker living in Tafita de Plata, Cádiz for 15 years, the drought is definitely over. There we go. Thanks, Lisa, for that. And Duagi saying, money in Uruguay también. Vamos arriba. Thanks, Duagi, for that. So different ways around the South, the Spanish-speaking countries, I should say. South America, Central America may be using different words, but here in Spain, cacahuete will get you the nuts. Cacahuete will get you the nuts. On that note, I'm going to wrap the live stream up. It's been a pleasure as always. Back again on Thursday with another one. Until then, hasta luego, hasta entonces, adios, and buenas noches.